excited. I hardly get to talk to our next guest. So for this episode, I'm excited to introduce to you a very sought after. I'm not even gonna say up and coming, kasi every time I have couples, I always get the request if I can get this guy, this lovely person to be the hair, makeup, not really makeup. I'd like to introduce everyone to Lei Ponce. Again, very sought after. He's now also on lockdown with his four lovely dogs, his fur babies. They're all surrounding him in Tanawan, right?
No, right now po I'm here in San Juan. But Manila, Metro Manila.
Metro Manila. And you've been in lockdown since for 45 days?
I haven't gone out since March 13th, I guess.
Thank you for taking time to be with Drinks with Miss Rita. And this really an online show. It really is here to reach out to event suppliers because a lot of our couples, followers, I know you have also a lot of followers, and the general public want to know what is really happening. There's so much fake news and a lot of negative, medyo sad.
Yes.
And I want it straight from the people who are involved na, it's not just like that. There are people out there and we're working to still make things happen. Something more positive and everything. So like, as early as now, ngayon pa lang, salamat, pinagbigyan mo kami.
Thank you din po. I would like to personally thank you, Miss Rita, and Miss Cher for inviting me also to be part of this show. Of course, it is my pleasure to be part of your internet show, my online show, Drinks with Miss Rita Neri.
Actually, when we were talking about the guesting or who should be there, and I said, definitely we have to get makeup artists. We have to get the hairstylists, the makeup artists, and everybody, simply because are being asked, how are the safety precautions and everything. But before I go into that, as a backgrounder, I'd like you to explain how have you and your team, how have you been doing during the lockdown, all this ECQ situation?
Honestly, with what's happening right now globally, it is really hard for us since we rely on our everyday job as a freelancer. Like we earn based on the clients that booked us, and
Yeah,
because of this lockdown, everyone decided to push back and move their dates into like for 2021. So
yeah,
we were like afraid at first, but we need to look for something that yung parang it would veer us away from the negativity of all the fake news, of all the bad news. So
yeah.
halo-halo na. So during lockdown, what I did was I just cook. What else did I do? Kasi I'm living in a 60 square meter unit. So parang maliit lang siya to do a lot of stuff. So what I do is I cook every day. I cook meatless. So
Okay.
all vegan. So I'm
Really?
doing vegan.
Okay.
I was
And you,
vegan back 2017.
oh, is this by health or by choice?
It was supposed to be by health, but I
Okay.
decided to change it as a lifestyle
Okay.
because based on study, the reason why people get sick is because of what they eat.
Correct.
And of course, I respect whatever you guys are eating. I respect that. It's just for myself, and
Yeah.
I know for a fact that eating healthy kasi is the thing that can protect you
Yeah.
from the virus, the COVID. So
Yeah.
that's the one that I'm actually looking forward is to protect my immune system, ganon. And aside from cooking, what else do I do? I paint. I make
Oh,
sure that yes, I paint. I make sure that my artistic side is still alive and kicking.
what's your medium? Watercolor, oil?
My medium is acrylic.
Oh, that's very hard. Oh,
Actually,
so
I have a little patience when it comes to painting. Because before kasi I used to paint using oil, and it takes a lot of time before it dries up in order for you to do the next step. But with
Yeah.
acrylic, I just need a fan with me. Tapos I
And
can
it's
just work.
you're a freelancer as a makeup artist, meaning
Yes.
you're not belonging to a specific salon or anything, right?
No, I'm doing it freelance, and
Yeah.
also my team. So the team that I have, my hairstylists, they're also freelance.
Binubuo mo lang yung team when needed.
I have my own team po. Kasi
Okay.
when you work with people, you need to work with people na you are comfortable working with, you know, that you can man them. Because like, sometimes if I get other people na unfamiliar for me, it's
Yeah.
hard for me to manage them. So I just make myself na available only dun sa tao na I am usually comfortable working with.
So you need that you create a team that you have synergy with, that you
Yes,
work well.
that is very important.
Yeah, definitely, lalo now in your line of work. So are they keeping well? Do you have you touched base with them?
Every day. Because actually, aside from them being part of my team, they're also actually my good friends.
Ah,
They're the
okay.
so I usually talk to them like every night because that's the thing that makes me sane during this lockdown. Or this that is the only thing that makes me sane talking to them.
What That's what good friends are for, right? They're there for
That's
you.
right.
And what about like you mentioned earlier that I'm sure people, your followers or your clients have reached out to you. So what is your rescheduling policy? Have any canceled, postponed?
For my 2020, I already assume that my whole 2020 is wiped off. I
God.
mean, I need like to think in advance. I need to take 2 steps forward because kung gagawin ko is I rely on that specific booking to cover for my expenses. What if they cancel or they postpone? And as for my rescheduling policy, for rescheduling, I don't really charge because no one wants this to happen. Um, and basically, it is an unforeseen event.
Okay.
And of course, they want to push through with one of their biggest milestone in their life. And it is really hard for them to postpone the event. But I don't really do cancellation. Postponement is okay, but for
Yeah.
cancellation, since they deposited like a reservation fee, we don't
Yeah.
normally refund it. But in case of postponement because of force majeure such as this, it's perfectly fine. But the only thing here is if they will do it on 2021 on a certain date, there is like a change in the rate, but it's not as much as losing the money that you have deposited.
Okay. So this is how I understand it. So if I'm going to transfer date, I'm going to reschedule to another date. The deposit I gave, you're going to honor it. But if it's at 2021, there will be additional, a little bit of an addition.
Yes, that's right. Because the rate that they have booked for that certain date is
Yeah.
locked for that certain date. I mean, for that certain year. And you know how there is like an increase or a markup in every year, but usually the markup is 5% or 10% at max of the
So it's a
total
bit
amount.
minimal.
It's really minimal. It's just to cover, of course, like the expenses, they don't usually go down eh. Everything
Yeah.
goes up. So by
Okay.
2021, for sure, mahal na naman. Nagmahal.
They can pay that little, that minor addition during in the balance na lang, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so at least. And how is your availability affected? Because I know it's very hard to book you.
Availability, I'm always available. I can always adjust. Yun nga, availability wise, for 2020, I'm totally available. 2021, I think the schedules are starting to pile up. But of
Okay.
course, once that my schedule is or my that date is free, then I will definitely give that to my client. And I usually cater one client per day
Only
because yes, one client, one if for a wedding, it's only one wedding per day because for me, they have prepared that wedding for the whole year. Other they prepared it for 2 years. And of course, for me, I need to treat it as my special event as well. So I don't like to treat it as a business. I want to
okay.
have a good relationship with my clients. So I don't want them to be clients only. At the end of the day, I gain new friends.
Is there a limit to how many times they can move their date?
Uh, for me, as long as I'm free.
Okay, so there's no limit to how, because it's not like, because with us, like, I have clients as they say, oh, we're looking at example, no, March 2021. And then, yung pala, they thought of it, but hindi sila nag-check or they didn't tell us to check for them na hindi pala pwede yung church or whatever. So they want to
Mhm.
move it to another date. So we say, please try to limit it to a date you're really sure because you can't keep on hopping dates because it affects all the
That's right.
supply. Yeah. So you're okay naman if they do transfer several times.
Yes, as long as I'm free.
Yeah.
With regards to transferring, because the client book you because they want you to be part of their big event, of their big milestone in their life. So that's why they push you to be one of their suppliers. And of course, you as a supplier, you need to respect your co-supplier as well.
Yeah. Question. To reach you, whether it be a new client or an or a regular client, or let's say a new one, is it through the regular process? They'll call you up, email. It's still the same process, right?
It's still the same process. They can reach me through my social media accounts on my Instagram. They can also email me, and the phone number that I post, it's my personal number. So you get personal, yeah, you get a personal touch from me. So you don't talk to my secretary, don't talk to someone else. Um, except for email. But for email, because I have my secretary who usually takes care of that. But
Okay.
for contacting me, calling me, it's perfectly fine. Social
Okay.
media, it's me and my secretary. But usually, you can reach me personally. I mean, you can
Okay.
get in touch with me personally.
That's very good because our especially for brides they want instant they want let's talk to this man. I don't want to talk to another third party,
That's
right?
right.
Now, especially this one, I've had mothers of the couple talking to me and saying, who is this makeup artist? Is he safe to use, especially in this time of COVID? What are your safety precautions that you take? Like, example lang, I've been asked, do you
Hmm.
sanitize your brushes? What is the eye makeup that he's using? What is the brand even, or things like that? Can you at least allay their fears?
Okay. So because of the global pandemic, everything is called new normal. There's
Correct.
no normal that normal things that will happen and can happen up until like a year or 2 years from now. So we
Okay.
don't know that until the vaccine is created. So as a precautionary procedure for us makeup artists, since we do face to face with the client, number one is we use disposable. Even before we use disposable, we are very particular when it comes to hygiene, everything. I mean, the sanitation. We are very particular as a makeup artist.
Well, sponge. What is the disposable?
This
Sponges?
the disposables are lip ones, the one that we use for lipsticks,
Okay.
sponges. It is this. It should be disposable, or you can give it to your client if you want as a remembrance. What else? Mascara wands.
Okay.
Um, the brushes, because we can clean it, we can only use one set of brush per client. I am very strict with that. That's why I have a lot of brushes with me because I am very strict when it comes to using brushes to clients, because even before that there is no COVID, we're very particular on skin diseases like skin tags, anything that can be passed on to another client, like warts. So basically, I am very much particular on using one set of brush for the bride, one set of brush for the mother of the bride, one set of brush for the mother of the groom. That's why before the event, I usually ask what is the total head count for my team and for myself. So at least the night before the event, we are prepared on the number of brushes that we will be bringing on their event.
But so does that mean even the eyeshadow and the lipstick are disposable? No, naman.
For the lipstick, it is it's imperative for us to scrape off, I mean using a spatula like this one, instead of like using it directly to the lips of your client. We scrape off the product away from the tube, so it prevents it from contaminating the product itself.
Okay.
And as for the powder, when we use the powder, we have what we call a cosmetic sanitizer.
Oh,
Yes, every makeup artist should have that, because every time that you use a certain product, you need to make sure that you sanitize it. If you don't have a cosmetic sanitizer, you can get a 99% alcohol. This one disperses in the air. So basically, it's easy for you to sanitize your makeup because it doesn't wet them. The 99% alcohol disperses easily compared to the 70%. So you
oh
can so you can disperse the powder.
what an eye opener. I didn't know this. And it's so heartwarming, or it's so reassuring that you've gone through all these lengths, which I think should be taken into account when makeup is done and everything. But what about the hair? The brushes?
For for the hair, basically they need to sanitize it with alcohol. Parang deactivate na yung virus, the
Okay.
99%. That's why they advise everyone to use the 70%, because the water content of the 70% breaks the outside barrier of the virus. That's why the 70% alcohol is much more effective in using to sanitize the brushes, the rollers, everything that you use on the head of the client, instead of using the 99%.
Oh,
99% is only used for quick sanitation. And of course, when you use the makeup, you need to make sure that after using it, you need to close it.
uh-huh.
So you don't let the cosmetic open while you're doing the makeup.
Oh my God. Okay. That's thank you so much for that one. And your people will also be wearing face shields and everything, right?
Yes, it is imperative as well for us to wear face shield, and don't be don't feel awkward if you see us wearing goggles. Yes, because there's a micro part, or the microparticles of the carrier of the virus. They usually like floats in the air.
My gosh, you're gonna look like you're aliens or
We
space.
look like we're doing operation
Yeah,
because we're
yeah,
wearing,
something like that. Oh my gosh.
but
Well,
not
that,
facial, but just the goggles and the face mask is just enough.
and would you also be covered in even let's say I don't know, suits or anything? Like
Well,
would you hospital gown?
because we have a group, the group of celebrity makeup artists and also wedding makeup artists. But we have a group celebrity makeup artists wherein we decided to create a robe
Oh,
for,
okay.
for us to use. And I was just like thinking about that, because when you wear a robe, you need to remove it if you're going to another client. So
Right.
basically, once you wear the robe, meaning to say it's already infected, so you need to sanitize it.
Yeah.
What if you need to go to somewhere else? So you're bringing the infection with you.
Right.
So that is what I'm thinking still, because if whatever that we're wearing, if you can just like spray on alcohol,
Yeah, might be better.
It might be better because in this country it's really hot for you like to roam around wearing a PPE
Yeah,
and
that's
it's kind of awkward for like SDE or videos that someone is doing your makeup then you're wearing a PPE.
well. That's a good thing to think about because I meant to ask you, how are your bookings? Are you getting bookings already? New clients and everything?
Well, for 2020, my schedule up until October is wiped off. And I'm not really quite sure about December,
Uh-huh.
but but it's good that I have savings with me, just enough to cover.
Yeah,
And for the meantime of my lull time, I'm doing work from home.
yeah.
I'm doing e-commerce.
Ah,
I'm Yes, I do support for e-commerce because back when I was working in the corporate, prior working as a makeup artist, I was part of the corporate industry. So I decided to go back in the corporate side for the meantime
okay.
because it will be crazy if I stay waiting for December, waiting for client to book me. So might as well make use of my time.
And I'm sure you're the type of person who would like to be more proactive, di ba? I mean, like what you said, you don't
Yes.
want to be reactive, waiting there. You're very creative. No, I asked it because I thought baka, you have another line of work or something, which you do have, which is the
Yes,
e-commerce.
yes,
Yeah.
I do. It is very important kasi um, it's hard for my colleagues who are doing freelance after they graduated from college kasi they
Okay.
don't know where to start.
Okay.
And for me, since I've been in the corporate side of the industry, I mean, I'm trying to help them of what else they can do.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's really hard. Because if you're used to spending 40,000 a month, then it will be paano ba sabihin, maninibago ka for you to earn 20,000 because you need to work in a certain company.
Yeah. So
Adjustments must be made.
yeah. And is that your take on the new normal now?
Yes,
Adjustment.
adjustment. Because wala naman tayong magagawa. I mean, the only thing for you to survive this pandemic is for you to adjust. Remove all the unnecessary things. Like, instead of ordering from Grab, magluto ka na lang. And I've noticed I've saved a lot of money from cooking.
Ayun.
Uh,
Yeah.
super. Kasi
Yeah.
back when I was working, kasi nga busy, puro Grab, puro order ng milk tea. And just for information, I spend 1,000 per day. 1,000 because I mean 1,000 max siguro mga 700 to 1,000 a day. But when I started cooking, I spent 2,000 a week.
A week.
A week.
What do you like
That's a
cooking?
big difference. Well, puro veggies lang. So I order my fresh produce from Session Groceries. So
Yeah.
dinideliver na lang nila, iniwan sa may tapat ng bahay.
The more I talk to you, cause let's face it, when we do events, you guys are very busy. I mean, so are we, but we cannot interrupt you because we normally come in, the bride's being prepared. We have a time consideration. You have to finish so much and everything. And aside from saying hi and hello, I hardly get to say, Lay, kamusta na the dogs? Yung ganon. I didn't even know you have dogs. And this is I'm very amazed. I'm very happy that I was able to touch base with you. And what an eye opener on how you sanitize and keep your work safe. I mean, the whole process, you went through the whole process and it allays a lot of the fears of the client. So at this point, if you could do me the privilege of why not give a message to your followers and to all your clients and to the general public, give us a short message about what's your take on this whole situation.
Well, my short message for everyone So let's not single out. My message for everyone is we just need to believe that this everything that is happening right now is temporary. But there, because everything is temporary right now, what we need to do is adjust and to make sure that we are still mentally stable, because right now, aside from fighting the COVID, we are fighting mental health. We need to make sure that we use this time to touch base with our friends, with our family, because sila kasi, they're the one who will help you to be sane. They will inspire you, and as much as possible, because I stay away from social media as much as possible, social media detox. And there's nothing wrong if you do research on everything that you've read on news, you've seen online. It wouldn't hurt if you do research, because
Yeah.
it is much better for you to know what's the truth rather
Yeah.
than believing on hearsay. So yeah, everything is just temporary. Just keep on holding. And this is the best time to love your family more
Yeah.
because we've been busy. Honestly, we've been really busy because we love our jobs more than our family. But now is the time that we need to give back and love our family more.
Um, I really love your message. It's not only positive; it's also heartwarming, and it gives a lot of meaning in a time like this, where we tend to forget what is really essential to us, that
That
which
is
is really family and home. And well, let's face it: if this had not happened to us, it was so easy to forget, right?
that
And
is
not
right.
remember, yeah, not remember what is really important to us all. So, Lei, thank you so much. I really loved our short session, and I look
Me too.
forward to again, yeah, talking to you. And hopefully, there's another session that we can touch base and everything. And I wish you well. Please take care of your fur babies, and you keep well also. Thank you
You
very,
too,
very
Miss Rita.
much.
You too.
Cheers.
Keep safe. Thank you so much as well.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.